All right, so in this video, I'm removing the old dash out of my 1978 C3 Silver Anniversary Corvette. This is not a how-to, this is simply how I did it. You can do it however you want. I'm just showing the steps on how I did it. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to repair all this with Bondo and paint it, or do the plastic cover, or just put in a whole new dash. I might just take this out and just kind of see. I haven't decided yet. I do have my helper over here with me. Sorry for the shaky camera. And hi. Yep, so we're going to start with getting this dash out of here. Okay, so I'm going to start with these screws here, these bolts here, and there's a couple screws right down here on this side, of both sides, over there on this door panel. And then I'm going to take off this, grab my light so you can see, this panel right here under the steering column. And by the way, the little switch down there is to keep your headlights open when you turn your lights out. I randomly found that screw on the floor. I don't know what it goes with. Okay, so I got the glove box out. That was pretty easy. There was just two screws, and then two, so 6 screws in total. And that whole assembly just slid out, and it's starting to break free. So I've got a little ways to go yet. These screws were from the tachometer, speedometer. Okay, so to get the wiper bracket off, I just popped it off using I have an interior kit with a plastic, different crowbars and stuff, and it popped off. And if anybody's curious to know what I'm talking about, this is the interior carpet and dashboard and all that kind of stuff kit. You can find them on eBay and different things. So they come in handy for a job like this. Okay, so this is how the radio was. That, and there's that. Okay, this is just for my own records. I probably won't publish this. There we go. Okay, so I removed the stereo, and once I removed the stereo and all the screws, I was able to put my foot and push this back, push this dash back, and allowed me to slide the gauge assembly back just enough to get it out. And now I have to disconnect all the wires from it, and I've made sure that my battery is unplugged before I did any of this. All right, so I unplugged that, and now I have to get this here out of the back of the gauges. Okay, so again, turns out I need to use my pry bar here. There we go. All right, sweet. So I wanted to show when I took out this center console with all the gauges, there was 2 screws right there. Okay, and I'll show you where they meet up. So here's the console gauge. There's where the stereo was. And if you look right there, there was 2 screws right there that were a little difficult to get to. Okay, so I'm making progress, slowly but surely, and the only thing that I know of, I've got that light switch in over there that I have to take out, the headlight switch. But there's still one thing somewhere that I can't quite figure out. Cause this thing is ready to come out, but there's one thing holding it up, and I can't figure out what it is. Okay, so I figured out what was holding it up. So I'm at the glove box, and there is a bracket right there that I did not see. And it's, if the camera can see it, it's lipped. It's got a lip that it's snapped onto, so that is what was holding me up. Okay, so now that I found out there was 2 brackets, your dash needs to, I needed to slide the dash straight out. This lip right here, you can see there's a lip. Those brackets were grabbing a hold of that. And so I had to pull the dash straight out, was my problem. But now it's starting to go, and I still have this light switch to deal with, as in headlight switch. And I disconnected the vents on both sides. You can see there's the vent. There's another one on the other side. You can see down there. I had to disconnect those vents. Those are easy. They just came apart. And I had to disconnect the wiper switch there. Okay, so I decided to leave the headlight switch on the dashboard and simply unplug it. So the headlight switch is unplugged, and so is the wiper switch. That should be the last of it, and I should be free to actually remove the dash now. Actually, that's not the last thing. I forgot about the wires going to the speakers. So I have to, there's 2 speakers in the dash and wires going to them. So I have to unplug the speaker wires behind there. But they're just right there. And they just plug into the speakers. So I'm going to get those unplugged. Okay, so here's a closer look. There's the speaker. I'm shooting this through the windshield of the car, so forgive the camera angles. Okay, there's the speaker, and then you can see right here, it was just a, yep, and then that's it. Now the speaker is loose. And by the way, my wife got me these flashlight deals. Oh my God, I can't imagine doing a project without them. And I found a couple more things I have to disconnect. I thought there was something else. Yeah, so this is, I think, a glove box light. And I'm not sure what that is. It's got to get disconnected. So I'm going to disconnect that as well. Overlooked that. Got a piece of the vent that came off, so I got to put that back on. Okay, so this vent on the passenger side would not come off, and it came off over there. I thought I had it disassembled over here, but it kept coming with the dash. And so one more obstacle to overcome is this bolt right here. It's going through the bottom side of that vent is. So okay, so one more thing I forgot. On the back of that headlight switch, get my light out of the way. See that black and green vacuum hose? Wonder why this dash was hung up. It's I didn't disconnect the vacuum hose for the headlights to flip up. Okay, so just as a side note, I was able to kind of snake around the steering wheel, but I think if I was to do this again, I would have just took the steering wheel off. I've had it off half a dozen times on different projects in this car. I've changed out the ignition, the signal switch, had this apart several times. I should have just took the steering wheel off. I realize that now. But I was able to get it off. There's the dash. There's the back of the wiper switch, the back of the headlight switch. And those vacuum hoses were connected right down there. Go around the other side. Okay, so that's where the vacuum hoses were connected right there, and they just pulled off. The hose actually fit on there kind of taut, but it just pulled off with my bare hand. So Okay, so there it is. I got the dash out, and yep, I'm gonna go through this video and label all the wires. And then there's the dash. And I thought I was gonna be able to save it, but I don't know. That thing, I mean, it was pretty bad to begin with, and it just crumbled. Matter of fact, the piece even broke off right there, and I was even trying to be careful with it. It's busted there. I'm really not excited about spending $700 on a new dash, but I've seen a lot of Bondo tricks and stuff, but I don't know. I was trying to be careful, and I created several more cracks just removing it. It's just old and brittle. I don't know. Okay, so got the dash out. It took me, starting with the radio and the screws, and then the console piece, which is over there, and the dashboard, all together, probably 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours. But yeah, I got it out of there. I wish I would have took the steering wheel off. That would have been a lot easier, but whatever.